These are some dedicated people. I didn't expect to see anybody today. The day before the 4th of July.
Hey, you're lucky. I'm usually on vacation.
Yeah.
I didn't go this year.
Say.
Okay, good.
Oh, man.
I wonder if the 88, the first place.
Well, some
you know,
supporting-
Some are supporting less.
Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Then you got the.
I'll get it this afternoon. I'll get it down till my.
Yeah, I know, that's all. The next thing is killing me. I couldn't remember. I think I just lost.
Jeremy, you good? All set?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'll call me. Pledge allegiance. Thank you. Ray, your turn to open us up today, Ray.
All right. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, we humbly ask for your guidance and wisdom in our discussions. May we listen attentively to one another, speak with respect, and seek your will in all our decisions. Grant us clarity of thought and open hearts as we work together for the common good. We thank you for the opportunity to come together and pray for your blessings upon our meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Ray. Roll call vote, roll call, Vicky.
Okay. Commissioner Hepburn,
Here.
Commissioner Rubin,
Here.
Commissioner Van Alstine,
Here.
Commissioner Scola,
Here.
Commissioner Hellwig.
Here.
Thank you, Vicky. Any public comment? I'll ask everyone to please stick to 3 minutes. You'll hear a chime if you need all the time, and then I'll thank you for your comments. So go ahead, Garrett.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm live.
Yes.
Good. I'm Gary Muller, live at the entrance to Centennial Farm at Eddy School Road. Retired hospital CEO, most recently from Marquette General Health System in the UP. 40 years doing that. Let me thank you all for what you do. I ran public hospitals, for 40 years. And it's always interesting, but a very important duty to take care of the public's needs. Mine was healthcare, yours is everything. So thanks for everything you do. I'm on the Meadowbrook board with Melissa, Fred Harris, and our liaison, Bill. And we really take care of a lot of good people here with Meadowbrook. The staff does. I don't do a thing. I'm also on the Area Agency on Aging Finance Committee and board. So my two issues today really are, even after the bill passed last night, Medicaid in our community is extremely important. It's got to be supported. You all know that. Meadowbrook's patients are 85% Medicaid, 85%. So anything that's cut, which it will be, get ready. But as a medical care facility, you all are responsible. Ultimately, we have good staff to run it. So get ready for a Medicaid issue coming to our community that we'll deal with. Great staff, great people, great doctors, and it'll be good, but it's coming. The other is senior services. We have a high population of seniors who are all needing services. Some of those will be cut. Again, it's our community. It's the things that we need to do. You all are the governance of that community. So I'm just here advocating for Medicaid. Little warning, senior services also coming like that. So again, thank you all for everything you do. Tough job. Keep it up.
Thanks, Gary. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Gretchen Iorio. I live in Keewaydin. I'm here this morning along with citizens of Antrim County to urge you to pass a resolution to oppose the reconciliation bill known as the Big Beautiful Bill that is before Congress. We asked that this resolution be put on the agenda, but you denied our request. We are therefore presenting this to you in public comment with the hope that you will recognize just how damaging and cruel this bill will be to so many of our family, our friends, and neighbors in our county. Many disabled people, middle and working families will suffer. This bill fundamentally serves cake to the billionaires and big corporations and gives some of us the crumbs. Many others who are struggling will not even get the crumbs. They will have food taken off their table and their health care taken away. All of this pain will be inflicted by this bill, while at the same time, it grows our national debt. We urge you to debate and pass this resolution. The resolution is as follows. Resolution of the County of Antrim Board of Commissioners, urging action to oppose proposed cuts to federal programs that provide health care, food security, and financial assistance. Whereas the people of Antrim County recognize that their elected County Board of Commissioners is tasked with upholding the well-being of their constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning.
My name is Wendy McWhorter, and I'm also here to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I'm also here because our representative, Jack Bergman, is voting yes for this bill. And it is something that we all need to consider.
Wendy, we make sure that microphone's pulled down, so thank you very much.
Whereas Congress is negotiating a reconciliation bill known as the Big Beautiful Bill, which includes many potential cuts to Antrim constituents who live in poverty or are asset limited, income constrained, and already struggling to provide life's basics. Here is how the Congressional Budget Office will affect people right in our county. Those in the lowest income group would lose on the average about $1,600 in resources a year, about 3.9% of their income. Think about how that would affect you. Mostly because of reductions in non-cash transfers such as Medicaid and SNAP. Because many in this group pay little to no federal taxes, they would benefit less from the tax cuts that are going to go to the top 10%. Middle income households would see the resources increase by an average of 5 to 1,000 or 0.5% to 0.8% of their projected income. The top 10% of households would see a gain of an average of 12,000 or about 2.3% of their income, mostly because of these tax cuts. This legislation is not going to benefit but very few in our county. It's going to hurt our county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Linda Travis. I'm from Elk Rapids. And I want to continue, whereas out of the 11,034 households in Antrim County, 35% qualify as living below the poverty level or ALICE in 2023. How many households live paycheck to paycheck in each Michigan county? Whereas approximately 20.2% of the Antrim County populations receive health care services from Medicaid. The bill doubles down on failed work requirements, Many hardworking people will lose their health care due to the inability to complete confusing paperwork and navigate the red tape. It punishes parents and people with chronic health conditions who are doing their best to get by. It has been estimated that it would cost the state 75 million to enforce the work requirement accountability. It not only guts Medicaid, but also terminates the Affordable Care Act premium assistance, making marketplace insurance unaffordable for more than 22 million people. That Bergman is going to vote for this bill. Please consider all of the constituents in our county and the entire state to stop this travesty. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Holly Polich. I live in Central Lake. This is a note from the Department of Insurance and Financial Services that discusses what this budget reconciliation will do. It reads, the federal budget reconciliation could result in 120,000 Michiganders losing health insurance, and it's dated June 13th, 2025. Background, on May 22nd, 2025, U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 1, a budget reconciliation package. This is sweeping changes to the Patient Protection and ACA, Affordable Care Act, and several federally funded programs that currently ensure health insurance accessibility and affordability for Michiganders. Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services, the DIFS, analyzed the potential impacts of these changes on Michigan. The bill severely restricts access to tax credits, complicates enrollment procedures, and introduces restrictive marketplace eligibility rules. Based on Congressional Budget Office estimates and CMS marketplace data, an estimated more than 120,000 Michiganders could lose health insurance if these changes go into effect. These changes would limit health insurance options for Michiganders, sharply increase the uninsured and underinsured rates, negatively impact Michiganders' health, and increase insurance costs for all consumers. More than 530,000 Michiganders enrolled in high-quality, affordable health insurance for 2025 through the health insurance marketplace. A number of changes in H.R. 1 limit access to coverage and increase insurance costs for Michiganders, especially low-income families. Beginning in as early as 2025, working families will find it harder to change, will purchase health insurance, and will have limited ability to change their insurance and keep their tax credits following a life event. In addition, starting in 2026, the open enrollment period for all marketplace users will be 1 month shorter, limiting the opportunity for Michiganders to enroll in coverage. Beginning in 2028, nearly all marketplace consumers will not be able to auto-enroll, which could result in families paying more for their health plan and losing their health insurance altogether. And I remind you, our representative, Jack Bergman, is supporting this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Myrna Holland, registered nurse, Elk Rapids, Michigan. I want to talk about the cost increases for the marketplace plans. Federal cost sharing limits and tax credits have been made health insurance plans more affordable for Michiganders. This bill takes away the federal supports that have led to the lowest uninsured rates in our state's history. These changes would be in addition to recent federal adjustments that will result in a $450 increase in maximum out-of-pocket costs and lowered coverage for plans on the marketplace. There is going to be income verification. Starting in 2026, families who qualify for low monthly premiums will no longer be automatically renewed for cost savings based on federal tax return data. These families primarily at or below the 150% poverty level, but will be required to go through an additional income verification to renew tax credits, placing new burdens on families to keep their coverage. In addition, families with verification issues for example, a delayed birth certificate for a new baby, will have less time to resolve these issues. And will no longer be able to receive temporary eligibility for their tax credits, which will mean that they will have to pay full premiums upfront and would lose coverage if they cannot afford it. There will be coverage gaps between Medicaid and Marketplace. Under this bill, low-income working families who are removed from Medicaid due to work requirements will be ineligible to receive tax credits to purchase a Marketplace plan. This means they will not have Medicaid coverage or lower health care cost health insurance through the Marketplace, severely limiting their choices for affordable health insurance. Employer provided coverage. In addition to charges impacting the health insurance marketplace, the bill would also make changes to employer provided health insurance. These changes would make it easier for employers to use plans that shift more healthcare costs onto employees and exempt employers from requirements to provide health insurance options that include consumer protection for things like pre-existing conditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Pack. I live in Rapid City, Michigan. Whereas, you're listening to this, 35.2% of children in Antrim County and 5.1% receive health care through CHIPS and the Healthy Michigan Plan. These are programs under the Affordable Care Act, ACA. If the reconciliation bill passes, it will be harder to enroll. Insurance premiums will cost more as early as this November. Changes will include shortening the enrolling period, stricter eligibility, stricter verification processes, no auto re-enrollment, and no extension of extra premium tax credits. Whereas approximately 14.7% of Antrim County seniors receive Medicaid. Reducing Medicaid services would have profound effects on their health. These are services seniors need every day to bathe themselves, dress themselves, and get themselves to the kitchen. Cuts would include getting hospitalization, emergency room visits, and in some cases, early death. Cuts to Medicaid and the ACA are predicted to negatively affect the functioning of nursing homes and health care facilities, especially in rural areas. And may I remind you that Jack Bergman supports this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Judd Fuller from Bel Air. I just want to say that I worked in the children's program for social service. And I've come across a lot in this county who rely on ADC and Medicaid for their kids. And that's why we'd like you to adopt this resolution. Whereas approximately 14.5% of our Antrim County population receives assistance from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Data also discloses that 67% of SNAP recipients are covered by Medicaid. High percentage. The legislation being moved through Congress would threaten both the health care and food access of nearly 950,000 Michiganders. It would be the first time in the history of SNAP that the federal government would no longer ensure that the lowest income families with children, older adults, and people with disabilities would be denied the food assistance they need. State data can be found here. Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, May 13, 2025. Also, keep in mind that our Michigan State Health has voted to eliminate school nutrition program. Hungry children, hungry adults. That's not it. Learn better. Or this one says, hungry children can't learn. Whereas the approximately 35% of people in Antrim County living paycheck to paycheck are often service workers, many citizens who keep our community safe and welcoming to our residents and visitors. Many of our local small farmers and their employees also rely on these public supports, as they are the economic drivers in our county. Consider the ethical and practical support they and their families deserve and need to live a quality life. When they get sick, they can't work.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kathy Albro and I live in Kearney Township. So you've heard our resolution so far. Now therefore be resolved that the policies mentioned above should be fully funded and supported from now and in the future. Now therefore be it further resolved that the commissioners and all recipients review and consider the words of a prominent American which addresses the soul of the country, who said, "The ultimate moral test of any government is the way it treats three groups of its citizens. First, those in the dawn of life, our children. Second, those in the shadows of life, our needy, our sick, our handicapped. Third, those in the twilight of life, our elderly." That was from former Vice President Hubert Humphrey in 1976. Now therefore be it further resolved that the Antrim County Board of Commissioners pass a motion that calls on state legislature, United States legislature, including Representative Bergman. It would be nice, I don't know if the bill has passed yet or not, but if it hasn't, please call him. The United States legislature and the president to reject the cruel gutting of the safety net for those in most need through this bill that is the greatest transfer of wealth to people who don't need it. Commissioners, your job is to ensure the well-being of the people who live in Antrim County. Now that this big ugly bill has passed or will be passed, the horrible consequences for your constituents expands far beyond what has been stated here, including adding trillions of dollars to our national debt. Please stand up and have the courage to oppose your party when your constituents will pay the price. Thank you.
Thank you.
He also, just in the last week, collected signatures of Antrim County residents that support them.
Other public comment? Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. Good to see you here all today. I just want to talk a little bit about the Public Safety Center. I'm hearing there's a consensus on a 15-year bond. And I know we have all talked about 20-year, we talked about 25.
You're not getting the mic.
Can you hear me now? Sorry about that, guys. I usually have a pretty projected voice, so like I said, I'm hearing a consensus in reference to a 15-year bond for the $18 million. And we did have it was throwing out there a 20-year and a 25-year at one point. And please take your collective thoughts and please think about doing the 20-year. 15-year, I feel we're going to have to get rid of positions, tighten our belt, obviously. And we have services that help this community. There's services I don't want to get rid of. But we need them. I mean, road patrol, your deputies, if we got to get rid of 2 or 3 positions, puts us down to 20 officers. And that's not very many for this county. Huge county. Marine Division. We got a lot of lakes out there to keep the citizens safe while they're out there vacationing, whether they're citizens that live here or people that are vacationing here. We have corrections deputies. We have dispatchers. Please please just think about what you're doing today, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Good morning, Corky.
I'm Corky Crimmins and I'm from Elk Rapids Township. And I've been listening to all of you, and it sounds like we may be needing money in the future in our county if there are going to be indeed these horrendous cuts. I disagree with Kevin, even though he is a wonderful man, and I'm so glad he's our sheriff.
Comments, Corky, comments to us, please.
Okay.
Okay.
And I just want to say, I think the 15 years is a good plan because it will save us almost 3 million in interest alone if you go with 15 years. And that's a lot of programs, and that's a lot of money that we can use to help those in our community if there are going to be other tax cuts federally. So I would like to see you consider the 15-year plan just because it saves us more than 2.5, almost 3 million in interest alone with a 15-year bond instead of a 20. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, being no other public comment, I'll move on. May I get an approval of the agenda, please?
So move. I'll support it.
Moved and supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Minutes, June 19, motion to approve minutes unless there's corrections.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 19th as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll support.
Thank you. Moving supported, discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Liaison reports, committee reports. Anyone? Oh. Got it. What, go ahead, Ray.
Okay, I attended a special meeting, for the road commission this past week. And, Bert Thompson, who is, the engineer / manager of the road commission, plans on retiring next year. So the board, decided, they passed a resolution, 3-0 to hire this company called Hiring Solutions LLC to try to find his replacement. During the conversation, it sounds to me that it might be a little bit challenging to find an engineer / manager. Hopefully, they achieve that. But the process is starting right now. They did table the language for the current job description until July 15th meeting. That's all I have on that.
Thanks, Ray. Yep. Cheers.
Yeah, North Country Community Mental Health met last week and we discussed some different things. We had a group of people there from Grand Traverse Industries and spoke about what they do there and how they help people that have a lot of needs, and some of those people are able to work and do some simple jobs and earn a paycheck. So our CEO, Brian Babbitt, is looking into it and he's sent an email that I think you've all seen. So
Thank you. Terry, Jason. As the Meadowbrook Meadow Care Facility liaison, Gary was here a little while ago making comment. And they did ask that I report back on a motion they made last Thursday. And I'll read from the draft minutes from last Thursday. The Meadowbrook Governing Board goes on record in vehement opposition to any proposed cuts to Medicaid, mental health services, and food assistance, SNAP. The resolution also includes opposition to any changes that would negatively impact the Healthy Michigan Plan, which is vital to the health and well-being of the community. Motion by Fred Harris, seconded by Gary Muller. All yeas, motion carried. That's all I have. Moving on. No old business, no unfinished business. New business, claims and accounts. Can I get a motion to approve claims and accounts matter in the amount of $68,189.94, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
second.
Move to second. Questions?
Yeah, number 23, vet services, 1416, are those just our normal?
Yeah.
Or is that something? Okay, just making sure. All right, thank you.
There you go. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Chairman's appointment, I'm looking for a motion to accept the chairman's appointment of Mark Byard to fill a partial term expiring on March 31, 2029, on the Antrim County Materials Management Planning Committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Moving out to annual reports, and I'll again mention that we ask that the presenters stick to a 15-minute time frame. I'm selfishly asking for this today because if I don't get back home at a reasonable time this morning, I'll never get back across the Torch River Bridge until Monday because of George Fest. So, please, again, 15 minutes, and we'll leave time for if there is any questions for the board members. We did receive a written submission from Leslie. Leslie's annual report. So can I get a motion to accept the Antrim County Drain Commissioner Operator Dams 2024 annual report?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second.
Yeah.
Seconded by Ray. Question, discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay, absolutely. Lake levels update. Leslie Myers, Drain Commissioner. Hello, Leslie.
Good morning. I will try very hard to keep to that 15 minutes, even though that this isn't an annual report. Jeremy had asked that I put together a report for you, and because of the way that submissions go into the administration office, by the time I get that report to you, it's already 2 weeks old and some new things would happen. So I decided I will show up in person to give you a verbal update, and then those things can go into my next report as well. We have signed contracts with the Spicer Group, with Fahey, Rhodes, Schultz, and the attorneys down in Okemos, and Dickerson Wright. The hardest thing to do is coordinating with the 3 other counties. We finally have a schedule. We will be meeting with Kalkaska County and Grand Traverse County on August 20th. And on August 13th, we'll be in Charlevoix County. They're going to decide at those meetings whether or not they're going to send a representative and we will create a board to oversee this work, or whether they will appoint Antrim County to be that delegated authority. So took us a little while to get through to how, other counties work, but we're doing that and doing a good job. On the 6th of June, we took a really great tour. We got a bus from ACT. We took our engineers, the attorneys, members of the lake level committees, as well as the permitting agent from the state. Thought it was a great idea to get her involved right at the very beginning. So it was a really successful day. Ray was able to be there, and I think that he enjoyed it. And to me, what was beautiful about it is when we say the culvert in Ellsworth, everybody in the room knows exactly where that culvert is, what it looks like, and how it functions. Same with the Mormon Bridge issues and what Ogletree Creek does to the Mormon Bridge area, which one guy seems like he about gained a half an acre of sand coming down out of the creek. Anyway, I digress. So the biggest thing that's coming forward is we are going to start putting, we're going to put gauges onto each one of our lakes. There's a new system out now. Our gauge in Central Lake, we only have the one formal gauge in Central Lake, costs us about $5,000 a year to have. There is a new system out there that is it's called Hi-Fi, and it runs off satellites. And we're going to be able to do 4 gauges for the price of what we're doing now. So we're going to install the first 6, hopefully by August 1st. They'll go into 6 Mile Lake. We're working on that location for 6 Mile Lake. The 6 Mile Lake Association's been very, very helpful in finding me the right places to do that. We're going to put one at the culvert in Ellsworth. We're going to put one at Mormon Bridge. We're going to put one at the Bel Air Dam. What a novel idea. I've been trying to do my job basing it on a gauge that's 8 miles away. So this should be interesting. And then we're gonna put one at Elk Rapids Dam. Right now, there's just a visible sight gauge. The other problems is that we're dealing with 3 different datums. We've got the datum for 1929. We have the datum for 1988. And then we have a Great Lakes datum for the one in Elk Rapids. We're going to make them so that they all read the same. I mean, how can I really tell what's going on if they're not talking the same language? So I'm very excited about that. It'll also allow us to make some really good observations and collect data that's never been collected before. The Bel Air Dam options came out last week. It was scary, but the prices for fixing it ranged anywhere from 4.9 million to 13.9 million. There was a lot of discussion that took place by the board. You will be receiving a presentation at my next report out. There will be a presentation from the engineers to you to talk more about it. Not for you to really make a decision at that time, but just to understand how we spent the grant from the state. And then after it's been presented and reported out, they will then begin the construction drawings with the rest of our grant funding. The Elk Rapids Hydro Dam, we are looking at formal drawings for what we need to do over at the overflow spillway there. Last year, we did some soil boring work and other things in the overflow spillway area. And they're reviewing all of that now to make the best decision on how to correct that. Because the hydro is power generated, it's regulated by FERC. And FERC did not do their 3-year inspection back in 22 because of COVID had stopped everything. And we did not get an inspection by the feds in 22. They have canceled their 25 inspection because of budget cuts. And we are in the preliminary throes of deciding whether or not we should undertake a full-blown inspection on that dam ourselves. We're looking at probably about approximately $20,000 to $25,000 to do that. The dam's 110 years old. And I don't want it to be 9 years until an inspection happens and we find out there's a problem. You know, when the dams burst in Midland and in Gladwin counties, 7,700 people lost their water. The 4 lakes there are hoping that maybe by 2026, a lake or 2 might have some water back into it. That's 5 years, 6 years by the time that they get water back. And those 7,700 people are going to be paying on average $4,000 a year for 40 years on a special assessment to put that water back. If we lost our water here, we'll never lose it all. But those that live on the water could add an extra 10 acres. I mean, it might take 3 years, but people on Torch Lake are gonna be mowing the lake bottom. I don't want that. That's just terrible. We have identified approximately, because we're still in our number counts, we have identified that there are over 5,600 parcels that are affected directly by the chain of lakes. We're still looking farther because we want to find out who's out there, what's going on. The construction documents that we'll be getting back from our grant will be a really good source for us to go after the dam risk reduction grant again for 2026. We will be able to make that deadline. Their deadline is going to be December 1st. Having construction documents will be great. One thing though, we have learned from this last year, we did not get any money from the dam risk reduction grant for 2025. What we did see though is of the 14.5 million that they gave out, 90% of it went to dam removal. I have no interest
in removing dams in Antrim County. I have no interest. So on that note, best we could probably hope for is about $1 million to $2 million out of the dam risk reduction grant for next year. We're going to have to be looking at some type of special assessment. I don't like it. Because if nothing else, I live on the chain. I'm going to be paying that assessment too. So I want it to be, you know, as little as possible for my own sake. But I also understand what that chain of lakes means to our economy, to our environment. It's what brings people here. If we don't have the chain of lakes, why come here? There's 10,000 other lakes in Michigan. So with that, that's my update. I know it's not the greatest news, and I know I'm not going to be the most popular person around, but I got a job to do. I got to protect Antrim County. Any questions?
Sure. Yeah, Leslie, just wondering, we've seen some bills come through with, GEI consultants and I think a different consultant, just wondering, is the first phase about done or where is that at?
The first phase, the dam grant of the $500,000 grant we got, we're coming to the halfway point. GEI is our head consultant on that project, but Spicer's working in conjunction with them. So what they finish up now has been all of the research, soil borings, well pits, everything, and now it's time to get to construction drawings. So there's another $250,000 to spend.
Thank
Sadly. Not getting any cheaper though.
Other questions? Thank you for everything you do, Leslie.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
and just don't shoot at that target on my back. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie.
Okay, moving on. We have Janie McNabb with us today from Networks Northwest. Good morning, Janie.
I think good news.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you today. As you know, we come every year and eager to share the impact we're having on Antrim County. Our annual report is web-based this year. The link in your agenda takes you to that web-based report. But in your packet, you also have a 2-page summary. All of you got it, great. I do have some extras I'll leave on the table for the public if they're interested. Oh, there's the report. We're going to view it as if it's a PowerPoint. So first of all, I'll tell you that we're a 10-county region, an organization, but we have 3 target customers. The first is what we call talent, and that's really our job seekers, young people, adult learners. Second is businesses. We help them with hiring, training, recruitment, business development, so forth. And the third is community, and that's our local governments and other partners. So we have more than 40 different programs that all serve one or more of those target customers. And these 3 categories is how the annual report is organized. So I'll share a few highlights in each one and also talk specifically about Antrim County. If you want to go to the next, so in our talent programs, most of those are delivered through our nonprofit arm, which is called Northwest Michigan Works. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Michigan Works. We offer job search support, retraining, etc. And last year, we served more than 650 job seekers who reside in Antrim County. We also served 120 youth. And that was up from last year. That's probably one of the biggest places we saw an increase in Antrim County impact. And that's because we're working with school districts and we're really getting in front of the youth and helping them to see career options right here in their own backyard.
and also to help them learn employability skills. We really emphasize work experience. We believe that the best learning is getting out there on the job, because that's where you learn showing up on time, communicating, respect for your supervisor, all those things that every employer says they really need. We also see an increase in our adult education program with Antrim County residents. So that's our GED and basic skills training. So individuals who didn't finish high school and are now coming back to do so. Most of the time, those individuals are doing so because they want to be a role model for their children and learn alongside their children and encourage their children to go on to bigger and better things. If you could scoot ahead a couple of, let's go to the business category. So in business, we work with companies to access training grants, to hire and recruit and so forth. If you go to the next.
Here, Janie, I'll hand those out.
Here we go. So this investing in new markets category on the annual report, that's about a program we have called Apex Accelerator. That is a program that works with companies to access government contracts. And it's governments of all sorts. It's local, state, federal. It's funded through the Federal Department of Defense. And the purpose of the program is to help companies navigate that marketplace. You know, there's some complexity to it, but it's also to increase competition, because the more viable companies that are bidding on government contracts, the better use of tax dollars, the more likely those prices are going to go down. It also is intended to help navigate all the requirements that a company has to prove, like their pricing strategy, make sure we aren't getting exorbitant costs on things, and really get any certifications that are required and so forth. So our staff walk companies through all of that. And I'll talk about a company in Antrim County called NK Environmental that we worked with last year. We assisted them with bid matching services, cybersecurity compliance, portal assistance where they get paid. But they received in 2024, $377,000 in government contracts from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. They are also looking to expand and get into the federal marketplace. So great service to companies that isn't very well known. And we're doing everything we can to increase awareness about that program. Let's go a couple more slides. Yeah, community. So I believe all of you are familiar with our community development department. We work with local governments on planning projects. We're currently working with you on the materials management planning process. I'm actually serving on that committee as a representative of the Regional Planning Agency. You're actually going to see a request to swap me out for a different person. Not because I don't want to be here. I actually joined it because I wanted to spend more time in Antrim County. But we want to stack the deck so that we're really able to support you in the process. Our facilitator is, managing the process, but right now he's all alone. So if we swap me out for somebody else on the department's staff, they can step in and better support the process. So like last week, we would have had a quorum, but Matthew was sick. I couldn't step in. I don't have that expertise. So we're gonna do something to better support you. But we're happy to be working with you. And any questions I can answer on any of our or the organization.
Janie, do you know off the top of your head, because I don't, how much do we contribute, Antrim County contribute to Networks Northwest?
I have that
Thank you.
information. This year we're requesting $6,553.
And what is Network Northwest total budget?
12 million.
Thank you.
You guys do a great job. I appreciate it.
Thank
Pretty good investment for the county, I'd say.
I'll make, oh, sorry, I didn't see him raise his hand.
Just curious, are you doing the materials management for other counties also, or how is that going as far as outside of Antrim County?
Yeah, we have, we are required to have a representative on each committee for every county. So that's one way we're participating. But in terms of facilitating the process, we have that going with Antrim County and Charlevoix County. And then we are also facilitating the process for Manistee, Wexford, and Missaukee County came together to do a joint. We're facilitating that one. And I believe Matthew is planning to get out to multiple events in Antrim County this next couple of months, trying to get the survey out as much as possible. So he should be sending a list out fairly soon of where he's.
I think there's some documentation on the back table as well in regards to the survey too, so. Any other questions for Janie?
I'll make a motion that we approve Networks Northwest Annual Report.
Thank you.
All support.
Moved and supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you, Janie, for taking the time to come over here on July 3rd.
The benefit of that is I get out of Traverse City during Cherry Festival. So that's okay.
Good thing.
But I do want to thank you for your support and also Commissioner Hefner, and thank you so much for all the time you spend supporting the organization and attending the meetings. And I appreciate that you're available when I get support.
Anytime. Thank you very much. Have a safe trip back home. Thanks, Jenny. Moving on, Melissa. Antrim County Conservation District Annual Report. Good morning.
Good morning, lady and gentlemen. Oh, you already have a copy? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Who does not have a copy of Mike's book? Put that upside down? Okay, thank you. I may not have
Thank you
enough.
very much.
I already have one. I've read it too.
You know
That's
what,
a
I'll go to my
wonderful-
wife here, class.
There.
Yeah, for our.
Thanks. Thanks, Mike.
So I'm gonna do a couple of the slides and then Katie and Wade, our invasive species folks, are gonna come up and give you a little EDU and then I'll wrap up our work. Okay, so good morning. I'm Melissa with the Antrim Conservation District. I'm the executive director. I've been there a couple years now. Hit the button. This is our staff. You probably remember Brian Smith. He is our chairman. Next month is his last month. He's going to be retiring, which is good for him. I understand he and his wife have a new camper and they're gonna go do some traveling, so good for him. Adrian Wolf is our vice chair, Randy Johnson, Kathleen Peterson, and Deb Pruitt. And today we have with us Katie, Wade, Alexander, Robin, and Mike in the back. Ron is out working, collecting the recycling stuff. So next slide, please. Here's the money part, getting right to it. We ended up just about 10 grand in profit last year. Not that we're trying to make profit, but we're not trying to lose money. So I feel good about that. You can see our programs there, the breakdown, and most of it is operating and, or pardon me, most of it is programming, and then a little bit of operations there. So next slide. So recycling tons, in your packet, we have listed 1,800 something for recycling tons. That's actually incorrect. There was a weird thing that happened in 2023. I talked to Mark Bevelheimer yesterday at length. It says 1,800 in there, but that's not right because there was a weird thing that happened in 2023. Bel Air had extremely high recycling rates, so that skewed the numbers because I'm like, oh my God, Mark, how come we're like 300 tons less than what we should have been? Ultimately, we're about 30 tons less, but the numbers skewed us for Bel Air. So really, we're about the same as what we were last year. And then HHW tons, 53,000 tons of batteries, car oil, gas, stuff we don't know what it is.
So all of us who were at our event last weekend, we want to again thank you guys for not making us weigh that stuff anymore. Back in the day, we would have to put everything on a cart, like get it out of the person's cart or car, put it on a cart, push it onto a scale, weigh it, and then say, gee, you owe us $400. And they'd go, we're not leaving it, and they take it all back. So what we're doing now works really fluidly, efficient. People are happy. It's working well. So thank you for that. Next slide. So our erosion, as you know, moved to the county. So just some quick numbers for you. We had 310 applications last year, 257 permits issued and 53 waivers. I think right about now is when we're going to segue into Katie and Wade. Yep, here they go. So they're just going to come up and tell you about the invasive species because I know we got a new fella on board and some that might like a little bit of reminder about what you're doing. So I'll be right back.
All right, so I'm Wade Foster, and this is Katie Gray. We're the program coordinators for CAKE SISMA. So for those of you that don't know, unfortunately, we don't have CAKE. CAKE is our service area, so that stands for Charlevoix, Antrim, Kalkaska, and Emmett counties. And then SISMA stands for Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area, which essentially just means we work with local environmental groups in order to manage invasive species in our region. So we have some of our main partners that make our steering committee that helps guide us on what invasive species issues are the most pressing in our region. And the Antrim Conservation District acts as our fiduciary. Next slide here. So invasive species, there's two main parts of them. One is that they are not from this area. And the second is that they cause some type of either economic, human health, or environmental harm. So you need both of those things need to be true in order for something to be considered an invasive species. Keep moving through here. So how we prioritize and decide on what invasive species to go after. There's a lot of them out there, so we got to figure out where our time and money is going to be best spent. Unfortunately, as much as we'd like to treat a lot of that autumn olive that's out there, there's so much of it that we could quadruple our resources and barely make a dent in the population. So this curve kind of shows essentially the population of invasive species as time goes on. We're mostly looking for those species that are newly introduced. We know they're in other areas nearby, so we're trying to look out for those and try and tackle them and eradicate them before they become a very large problem that only insane amounts of money and resources that we wouldn't be able to obtain could actually control. Move on. So economic harm, we saw this pretty bad with the emerald ash borer over the last couple of decades here. So those are some of the types of things that we're trying to protect from there. Also, different invasive species can affect fishing, farming, all sorts of different industries dependent upon the invasive species. So those are some of the things that we take into account when choosing what to tackle. Keep going. Health harm. There are certain species that can cause different health effects to humans. Wild parsnips is a pretty well-known one around this area. It's in a lot of different roadside ditches and things. And it is phototoxic, which means the sap can essentially makes you really susceptible to sunburn, so it can cause severe burns. And of course, environmental impacts. We're trying to protect a lot of our threatened and endangered species out there. Invasive species is a pretty big threat to a lot of those. And also just different populations of all of our native plants and animals in general. So. All right.
To add some context to the program itself, it is a multi-county wide program. So we serve Charlevoix, Antrim, Kalkaska, and Emmett County. We're entirely grant funded. Our grant dollars come from the state of Michigan, primarily through a grant program called the Michigan Invasive Species Grant Program. We're entirely self-sufficient. That program is run by MDARD, Eagle, and the DNR. And then we also have some federal dollars, which are specifically funding this invasive Phragmites initiative that Kate's going to talk about.
Yeah, so this initiative is funded, like Kate said, by the federal government through the GLRI program, which is the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. So Phragmites has been one of our kind of a higher priority species as it takes up a lot of the shoreline. We usually try and target along with high priority invasive, high priority habitat and natural areas that we want to really protect. Partially A, for the environment, and then B, because it does make up a lot of our tourism up here as well. So Phragmites is essentially, invasive Phragmites is a very, very tall grass. It grow up to about 20 feet tall and will grow in very large, dense monocultures, as you can see from the picture up here. So last year, we were mostly focused on doing some surveying and ground truthing of some data that's been around for over a decade. When we had higher water levels a while back, it flooded out some of these stands luckily, so we're going back and making sure that some of the data we had is still accurate. We also did just over almost 4 acres of treatment last year, and we're looking to do just a bit more this year. So this is a little bit more background on this project. Phragmites is kind of a part of it. So we're specifically focusing on trying to protect coastal and riparian habitats. These are kind of these pristine habitats that we have here up in northern Michigan. This is what draws a lot of the tourism in. So we're really trying to focus on protecting these areas. They also contain a lot of threatened and endangered species. There are a lot of different species that can only survive on these unique dune ecosystems that we have here in Michigan, in the Great Lakes region. So next, one of our biggest concerns is hemlock woolly adelgid. With this project, it's being funded by the state through the Michigan Invasive Species Grant Program. Hemlock woolly adelgid is a very, very small insect. It's about the size of like a flake of pepper. So it's very hard to see with the native eye. This insect will infest hemlock trees and will very likely kill them in about 4 to 10 years. They'll attach themselves to the base of the needle of the tree and essentially suck out the sap, and over time will kill the trees. This pest has already devastated the hemlocks kind of in the New England region of the US, and in the early 2000s found its way into the Grand Rapids area, and it's kind of slowly been making its way up the coast of Lake Michigan. We recently found it for the first time in Antrim County just last March, and we rapidly worked with the state and other SISMA partners who are further west and south who have been treating this. And luckily last year, with the help of our kind of western SISMA covering the Grand Traverse area, we were able to treat over 4,200 hemlock trees. The treatment should protect the trees for about 4 to 7 years. This last winter, we also found another infestation about a mile away from the current one that we found, and we're currently working on tagging trees and measuring them out so that way we can properly treat those as well. So we've got about 2,000 trees tagged so far. That number's a little older now.
We also do a lot of education and outreach programming in the community that ranges from lessons to school kids, workshops, all of those things listed there and more. Also, if you guys have any HWA questions, I'm happy to field those. I know it's pretty complex. We can also do that at the end too, but it's a weird little bug. Yeah.
Oh, I guess final thing for Cape Sisma too. So while the DNR is there doing most of the public lands, we're kind of here to serve more private landowners and folks. So even if we don't have grant funding to treat these specific species on your property, maybe we're always here as a resource. So any invasive species issues that you're dealing with, you can always contact us, and we'll be sure to get you the best information on that stuff or direct you to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, that's why I wanted to talk about that. They're really intelligent, thoughtful young people. So here we are, back to us. I had mentioned to you last year that we engaged in the My Green Communities. We got Elk Rapids signed up. They were kind of working on it, and Forest Home is in progress. What that is a state-run program that is encouraging you guys, any municipality, to recycle, use good lights, all of these things that are more green. So that's exciting and cool. Next one. Then our stream monitoring is continuing. We, recognize like the Cape kids, like the forester, everybody else. Anybody who's in this room loves our water. So for us, monitoring what's happening in it is pretty important. So that continues. Next slide. Ongoing, we're keeping on with our trees for kids. We've given, I don't know, probably each year since I've been here, 1,000 trees or up to 5,000 trees for kids so far. We're working on home composting. We got the storybook trail going on at the Cedar River. Little kids love that. And surprisingly, the adults like it more, I think. They like taking the kids out there and doing that. Clean and Water continues, our Lake Leaders program. This month we'll be doing an invasive species aquatic kind of a thing. Then we too have lots of education and outreach happening. Last slide. Next slide. So we've got the Cake Sisma Tool Lending Library. Katie and Wade did a marvelous job. We have a shed with tools in it that people can come, if they gotta get rid of their automotive, they can come borrow it from us rather than go buy this $200 tool. We've got the boat washing thing happening, kids camp. We launched a free seed library this year. Robin did an amazing job getting these seeds out to the community, going to all the libraries, making a big impact there. We launched a new shopping platform, thank God. We're doing programs in school. We're doing some biocontrol. You can read all these things. Shoreline restoration. A real cool partnership we have happening. Whoops, let me just go to the podcast. Mike, we did some forestry podcasts with him at the beginning of the year. Now we're morphing in. I've got a recycling one happening. We'll be meeting with Torch Conservation Center. So we're trying to get our environmental groups together to let you know what they're doing. So you'll know, listen to our podcast and you'll know what these other groups are doing.
You're doing a wonderful job, Melissa. We're wrapping up.
15 minutes. So last thing was the autism trail that we're partnering with, I'm at 13 minutes and 57 seconds. Autism trail with Forest Home Township. And that's gonna be very exciting. I don't know if you guys know about that, but the development down by the soccer fields. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Questions for Melissa?
Just remember to let me know about the Mansalona one ahead of time. I know, but I always forget, I get busy, send me a text. Please, I love being there.
Make a motion to approve that.
Hold on, Jairus.
On the Willie Adelgid, has that primarily been found in Torch Lake Township?
Yeah.
I gotta have you come up to the microphone because otherwise people online can't hear us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that infestation is entirely limited to Torch Lake Township at this time in Antrim County. It is kind of getting towards the northern edge, so we do expect at some point to see some expansion there. We found it at the Torch Bay Nature Preserve and some of the neighborhoods right around there is the newest area.
And I know if you ever want to, if you would like to give a report to the Torch Lake Township Board, you're more than welcome to. They discussed it at this 2 months ago, I think it was. They had a gentleman there that was talking about the treatment that's ongoing and.
Yeah, we've been working with the Natural Area Committee, and they went and reported back to the township for us. We're gonna start treatment soon. I'm going through a bid process right now for the chemical just because of some requirements at the state level, given the expense of it. It's a pretty expensive thing to go out and drill all these trees and inject them. So it's a little slow going on that end, but once we have it, we expect to go out and treat quite a bit.
Is it primarily public land or private land or some of each?
It's a little bit of both right now. So last year we were pretty much on private property. This year, that main property that we're working on is public land. So along with that, we're doing some signage so people know why the trees have tags on them, what we're doing. And we're also probably going to close parts of the nature preserve when we're out treating, just out of an abundance of caution.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And finally, before Terry makes the motion, the last thing I want to thank Ron again. He's the gentleman who drives around in the Blue Ranger, cleaning up these recycling sites. I don't know what we would do without him. Yesterday, the condition of the recycling site in Keewaydin was well, it was a garbage dump. And if anyone has any suggestions, I know we talk about this every year for all of our sites, but it's again, Liz,
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot to say, so Ellsworth. Elk Rapids, Keewaydin, those have been some of our problematic sites, so we talked to the president of Ellsworth. Mr. Rasmussen, I don't know if he's the president or whatever, but they're gonna install some posts and then we'll put up a fence so that all that stuff's not blown away. We're gonna do the same thing in Helena, I just met Butch yesterday. I'd like to do the same thing here in Bel Air, and I'd like to do the same thing in Kuwait, and so we'll partner with the townships, if they'll put in the posts, I'll put up the fence, and ideally that keeps that stuff from blowing away. Now, yesterday, Xander and I stopped to, I don't remember why we went there, we went to look at the Bel Air site. The truck literally dumped almost half a container on the ground. The guy did it, and we watched this guy get out in very hot weather and pick all that stuff up. So thanks to Ron for sure. But, you know, we recognize that Green for Life has some responsibility for picking that stuff up, and what they don't pick up, we pick up. And I could open the store with all the stuff that we pick up. Yes, we brought back a full size treadmill, auto campers, toilets, bags of cement. So if anybody has ideas on that, you know, I know it's an education and outreach campaign, but getting people to not drop stuff off at the bins that don't go there is our goal.
And thank you, Melissa. And again, to be clear, I'm not criticizing the conservation district. I'm criticizing the individuals who continue to throw garbage in at the recycling centers. And obviously it gets worse in the summertime. And I don't know what the solution is, but the community, and again, there's community members who are starting to talk about get rid of these things because of the condition they are in the summertime. So always open to suggestions. I know Melissa is as well, but again, thank you for Ron for doing the job he does to clean those up. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve the Antrim Conservation District's annual report. I'll support.
Thank you. Moving supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Merriweather.
And many words, so that should be fair. This will be fair. This one, they'll make up for the other time.
Aye.
I will be as short as anybody. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about forestry. I guess you see Jeremy left, but that's all right. I'll go as fast as Jeremy pushes the button. How's that? So anyway, my name is Mike Merriweather. I'm the forester with the Conservation District. Just as a reminder, I'm going to take up just a few seconds to talk about the forestry program. We have a new county commissioner and a new county clerk. So just a second there. So the forestry program itself is fairly unique. It has three primary elements, county forest land, which the county owns, which are public lands. It includes private land assistance and some conservation projects. Those are the primary elements of the forestry program. Incidentally, the Antrim County is the second largest owner of county forest state, right next to Gogebic County. We own quite a bit of property. So the county forest, we have 40 parcels. I've combined them into 28 management units. These are municipal forests we acquired under the Municipal Forest Act back in 1935 or something. 2,900 acres. When you add natural areas, parks and industrial land, the county owns about 5,258 acres. So that's the first element of the forestry program is our public land. Just a general summary of our county forest. So common activities. Not going fast.
David's got a story.
So some of the common activities on our public lands are property line establishment, trails, firewood cutting, forest improvement cuts, wildlife improvements. We used to have a lot of oil and gas activity that's slowed down quite a bit. Of course, we do timber sales, tours, and then there's public usage issues, some conflict resolution, some other things that I have to deal with, so. So this year, 2024, we did 3 timber sales. Del Mason Road, Muckle Road, Mormon Park, and Lewis Road. Del Mason Road, 40 acres, mixed hardwood corners. We selectively cut 30 acres in 2024, cut 168 trees. Generated $13,300. Muckle Road, 190 acre parcel. We cut probably 40 acres of it. We didn't cut the whole acreage because a lot of it is wetland, swamp, and different types of forests. So this one was concentrated on our hardwood forest at Mormon Park, 44,000 square feet, $28,000. The last one is Lewis Road, which has not been cut yet, but it has been prepared for sale. We have a contract. Trees have been marked. Pending a 2025 cut. Have some issues with that with the storm damage, which I think we'll talk about later. We didn't get storm damage on that property, but it may have set that one back in terms of being able to sell. 310 trees, roughly $22,000 in revenues for the county. All told, like last year in 2024, the county received $44,444.06.07, which is a little bit less than we normally put up for sale, but so the big project last year for me was inventorying all of our county lands. It was a fairly extensive process. Actually hired a retired forester to help me with it. So what it was is we go through and inventory all of our county forests, all the standing timber on all of our county forests. Check the property lines, check the accesses, all those things. Number of trees, species percentage, diameter, and this is the inventory. These are 1/20th acre plots. You can go to the next one. So I do a transit throughout the entire property. I take 1/20th acre plots, measure all those dynamics in the forest, and that information is used for planning purposes, when we're going to cut, how we're going to cut, those types of long-term planning purposes. So all of our properties have been inventoried for a long time. So we did purchase 20 acres, as you guys all probably know. It was a connecting acreage to connect 2 of our larger forest areas. Mormon Park to our Dickerson Road property. I think long term that'll be a very good investment for you guys. Giving access from Intermediate Lake Road to Terenzi Road is really the ultimate goal, to have some sort of good access to that whole property. So I think that was a good purchase. Cedar River is a constant thing for me, constantly maintaining trails, trees that blow down. Incidentally, the village owns 40 acres of the Cedar. Conservation District owns 162 acres and the county owns 192 acres. So it's currently almost 400 acres of natural area that the Conservation District includes in their forest management program. The biggest problem in the Cedar still remains our little friends, the beavers. It's a constant issue. So quickly, the private lands is the second part of the forestry program. So I do provide assistance to private landowners, people that own properties, technical assistance in forestry, assistance to individuals, groups, schools, local governments. In 2024, that was on 224 properties for people that received on-site assistance. I don't keep track of phone calls and things like that. Just keep track of the people's property that I've been on. That's our private land assistance. This is just a flow chart of the type of services that are provided on a day-to-day basis. On-site forestry, wildlife assistance, a lot of urban and community stuff with tree diseases and tree disputes and different things like that. I get involved with state and federal cost share programs, state planning, forest health, tree health. Kind of goes with the urban community stuff. A lot of people do call me for individual trees. I do go look at them. I'm not an arborist, but I'm the only person really available, so. we'll look at it. And then we do some educational assistance with groups and schools. And then there's conservation projects, which is third part of the forestry program, which a lot of times isn't really forestry related, but if any townships or schools or people need some sort of assistance from me, whether it's forestry assistance or really anything, usually available to deal with that. Melissa mentioned the podcast. I don't know how I got into that. So, any questions?
Good job.
Cheers.
Yeah, just curious on your assessment of the ice damage in Antrim County. I'm sure you've been out to a lot of property owners, private property owners.
Yeah.
Just curious on your overall take.
It's a tragedy. It's a very serious situation. Antrim County was very lucky. Atwood, like you, maybe even your farm got hit a little bit, I don't know. And then Lake of the North, really devastated. And then 3 million other acres, Gaylor to the north. So it's been a real problem trying to get stuff cleaned up. So issues like the mills got flooded with wood. There's no more room for wood. They won't buy anymore. So much wood went into the marketplace that mills quit buying wood. There's a shortage of loggers. There's not enough people to actually do cleanup work. So, yeah, it's been a nightmare. I did have video you guys can watch on your own, maybe watch it. I think long-term effects are gonna be pretty traumatic. We're gonna have some insect outbreaks, probably gonna have some fires, we may have a catastrophic fire. I don't know, so yeah, it's pretty devastating.
Right.
This is the action request item. So the map here for Star Township, can you tell me where this is located?
Yeah, if you go across Kitchen Farms, there's a 2-track that goes across.
I think I know.
It goes up the hill.
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
back in.
okay,
Back in.
it's in that area. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to address the action item.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
2 seconds here.
2 seconds.
I can a motion to,
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
thank you. Move to second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thanks as always, Mike, but don't go anywhere. I think we're gonna move right into the salvage harvest agreement. I'm looking for a motion to have Forester Mike Merriweather conduct a salvage harvest on 13 acres with the county-owned forest in section 10 of section 10 of Star Township, and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate agreements.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jason. Supported by Ray. Any questions for Mike?
I went out.
Oh, Cheers.
Is this mostly pine or is it mixture or?
This is a hardwood for 40 acres with 13 acres of harvest. The pines seem to survive because it was fairly young. The hardwood is devastated. And what I'm doing is I'm combining all the landowners into one timber sale somehow. I'm gonna try and get it marketed and cleaned up. Barry was out there, but yeah, it's hardwood forest there.
You already covered it.
Okay.
I was out there, Mike took me out there on a driving rainstorm and it was beyond devastation. I mean, all the trees, none of the canopies are left. They're just like poles standing there, so.
Yeah, if you
Time
get a
to go.
chance, watch the video I sent you. It's that property and some other ones. So. Good.
Any other questions? Motion made, second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Thank you again, Mike, for everything.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Melissa.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. Okay. Moving on. Looking for a motion to accept the hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant and authorize the chair to sign the grant agreement for the fiscal year 2024-2025 hazardous materials emergency Preparedness Grant Program.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by, motion by Jason, second by Terry. Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Administration Office looking for a motion to approve the 2025 to 2030 Antrim County Capital Improvement Plan.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Move to second. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Audit report was provided for informational purposes only. Public Safety Center, approval of ballot language. 2 weeks ago, there was a motion made by Terry, seconded by Jason to approve the attached resolution 15/2025 Antrim County Public Safety Center bond proposal language for the November ballot. That was postponed till today so that the language can be provided to us. It has now been provided, so the motion and second is now up for discussion. Correct? Jeremy, am I
Correct.
following protocol? Okay, thank you very much. So, motion, second, questions, discussion? Cheers.
Yeah, just on the question of how many years it should be. I would like to amend the motion to make it 18 million for 15 years. So I would move to amend.
I'll support that.
Okay.
Well.
Oh, yep, I got a question, Jeremy. Again, are we following does Jairus have the ability to amend Terry's motion?
He has ability to make a motion to amend, yes.
Okay,
And then we vote on that motion.
You discuss that amendment and then you vote on it.
okay, so, all right. And just,
Discuss, I'll be right back. Time for discussion.
okay, fair enough, we won't finish it up till you get back. And again, just to clarify, and again, just correct me if I'm wrong, Terry's motion was for an $18 million bond for 20 years. That was the motion that we were discussing. Jairus has now made a motion to amend that to $18 million for 15 years. And that was seconded by Ray. Okay, let's go ahead, Terry, discussion.
We were taught when our finance director was here, he told us that if we went to less than 20 years, that our options would be to have to cut personnel or services, and I don't see that being strapping the county. I know that we've had discussions about not wanting to strap the county for 20 years. We had that discussion in the ad hoc committee. I don't understand why we would want to do that now. There is some other alternatives to that. We could look at, after discussions with the finance director, before he left, we would be able to do 18 years without cutting any services. So that would be an option we could negotiate to 18 years. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot different, but it makes it so we are sure we can make our payments. I struggle with, my analogy is buying a house and not having enough money to put hot dogs on your table. I can't see us strapping the county to make a decision like that, so. I would be open to changing that to 18 years. But I do not want to see us strap the county that bad that we have to lay people off and cut services to our taxpayers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I've had many constituents that look at the amount we raise taxes by this year, 1.6 million. The amount that we're going to raise taxes next year, 1.9 million. And the amount of interest money that we would save. And our constituents, they make decisions to tighten their belt if they want something new and fancy and needed. But I just, with the increase in property values and the increase in taxable tax revenue, I think that, will we have to tighten our belt a little bit? Yes, I do. And I have constituents that tighten their belt on a regular basis when they encounter unexpected costs for their business. And I just think that saving over $2 million in interest is the responsible thing to do and the right thing to do.
Thank you.
But this, will there still be an option halfway through, Jeremy, that where we could
Yeah,
pay it
this is-
down?
If this is approved, in whatever form it's approved at, it's an up to period. So that decision still isn't made until we go to bond, which is still a year out, at least from now.
So we could, feasibly save that interest right there halfway through. Feasibly? I mean, we could.
Yeah, you can make that decision. You just can't go over the amount that's approved.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, halfway through, we have that pay down period or.
That's a separate thing.
I know, but I'm just saying,
There's the amount.
worry about the,
So there's the amount that you decide to bond for. You're not deciding that. You're deciding a cap right now.
yep,
Or to ask the public for a cap. In about a year, if this was approved, you would then decide the actual amount of years that you bond for. Which would be based on how much money it actually is going to cost and balancing out whatever else you feel necessary. What I think you're talking about is there's also typically a 10-year call out on bonds that you can
that's what I'm.
shorten that period at that point even further.
So there's that other option. I mean, 15, I don't want to cut people's jobs. It's. We need this, and. Like the sheriff said, you cut deputies, just as an example. We're here to make the county safe. We're responsible for safety, financial, holding everybody accountable, but, it's not. We can't cut jobs. I mean, we probably, I think we have the fewest, if I'm not, mistaken, we probably have the fewest amount of employees we've had in a very long time. We've cut people already or didn't replace them and everything else. So for us to cut even further, it's not like we're adding new jobs every day. In my tenure here, we've lost people and didn't replace them. So we're taking jobs away. So we have fewer employees now than we did before. Do you get where I'm going with this? I mean, you cut people at this point, you're cutting services. We've been proactive and not, we got rid of positions that we no longer need because we're efficient. Whether we believe it or not, this Antrim County's, our people who are in charge of different areas are pretty efficient in what they do. And they don't ask for too much, no matter what. I know we have our opinions on that sometimes, and everybody does. But we've gotten more efficient as the years have gone on. But if we just cut people now, we're not, our efficiency and our proactiveness in knowing what we need and don't need, it gets ruined when we cut people that we do need. Because we want, I know we're saving a couple $1 million, but that call out halfway, we could save more, and we don't even know where we're at until we get there. And this is up to. This is not, okay, we signed 20 years right now. This is, we're just saying up to. We're gonna look, we have people that do the job to look at the best way to save money and get the most out of what we're doing. And the fewest amount of years. That's where I'm at. I mean, you have to trust the people that are experts, not us. I'm not an expert. We're elected in here. We're not experts. We hire people at this county that I, trust, make the right decisions. Not everybody's gonna like those decisions. Not everybody likes my decisions. your decisions, or any of yours. We live with that every day, but we hired people here to make those right decisions, and we need to let them do their job.
Thank you. Ray.
Um. So this board, this year raised the millage rate, which increased the revenue for the general, fund. I am vehemently opposed to reducing the sheriff's department. I want to make that point crystal clear. However, for a 15-year, the payment that I figured out, and this is rough because we don't know what the interest rate's going to be at this point. But it's approximately $1.7 million. All right. Keeping it at where it was, it's about 1.5. So we're talking roughly $200,000 a year to go to a 15, save the additional interest. I think this board has come a long ways since February of this year. And this is gonna go in front of the voters regardless of what the bond, the bond years are. I think it just goes a long ways to the voters to show the sacrifices that we have made. And like I said, I don't have the actual numbers. We're not gonna know what the interest rate is, but we're talking $200,000. And with the millage going to 5.3 for the general fund, that was a little over $1.2 million in additional revenue. We can't take, $200,000 more to make the payment. I don't think we're gonna be making these cuts that are being talked about. The sheriff's department, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen with me. If we have to make the cuts and we gotta make the tough choices, it's not gonna come from the sheriff's department. So, but we're talking $200,000 a year more payment for 15 years. I think that we can afford $200,000 a year. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
So we talk about efficiency, and my constituents, they're small businesses, they get more efficient all the time. They have to. They have to let people go. They have to be more efficient or they will go bankrupt. If we want our government, our county government, to be an example, I think our constituents want us to be more efficient. And it's gonna mean combining some positions. I don't think it's gonna be anything serious. It's already been pointed out. It's only a couple $100,000 more a year to make this. And I am definitely not in favor of pushing this to 9 years. We can refinance it then. I want to make good decisions now so my kids don't have to. I want to make it so it's better for them. I would rather deal with the pain and the tightening of my belt now than to kick it off 9, 10, 20 years down the road. Dealing with it and expecting government to live within its means is the appropriate course.
Jason.
Again, we don't even know the numbers. And again, this is saying up to. And again, I'm saying we hire people to make the right decisions. So we're just saying, us as a board, we're saying up to. If we can get it at 12 years, Jeremy would do 12 years or whoever, and we'd approve 12 years. But you gotta think, and we don't know $200,000. Your guess of the numbers, I don't know the numbers for sure. We can say 200,000, it might be 500,000, we might be doing way better off than we think we are. But we don't know until we get there. But if you set us at 15 years right now, we're not looking at the 20-year option, we're not looking at 18, we're looking here. I want to look at the whole big picture. And we don't know if it's gonna cost us 2 million more, it could cost us $200,000 more. You don't know. We don't know until we get there. We don't. But I don't want to limit us to 15 years. I don't want, I want us to see all the options. It says up to, we're not, we're not going to, I guarantee it. But for us to say it's only $200,000, we don't know that. We don't. Until we have the options in front of us, like I'm saying, you want to be efficient. I understand that. I've been small business. I work in a global business now. But I've been small business. I've seen Manzona at the best it can be. I've seen it at the worst it can be. And right now, we're getting back to where we should be. Okay? So don't tell me I'm not efficient, or we're not efficient, or we should be efficient this and there. We all try to be efficient. That's how you're supposed to live. Okay? Some of us live beyond our means, but you're hindering us. If you're saying you're stuck at that 15. Yes, you are, because we have to know all of our options. You don't know any numbers. This is the misinformation I'm talking about. People will run with this. We need to look at the big picture. Not limit ourselves, is all I'm saying. We can't limit ourselves. We have to have those options out there. And when those options, when we get to that, we're not even to the point where you guys want to give me money to know how much this thing is.
Hold on.
Okay, but we don't want to limit ourselves. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's right for us to limit ourselves to 15 years. We need to have the option to look at 20, 18, 15, 12, whatever we want to do, but we can't do that if we limit ourselves right now at 15. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks.
So-
Thank you, Jason. I'm really, again, encouraging the discussion here. This is a big decision.
A little
So,
passionate sometimes, but
thank you very much.
I know business, so.
Terry.
Okay, the discussion is, we could easily come up with a couple $100,000. Well, what you don't take into account is we have whatever our increase was, you have wage increase, you have cost of electricity, cost of heat, fuel, all these other things that eat away at that increase. I mean, that's an every year thing. We negotiate union contracts. We give employees more raises. It's just the course of business. That eats away at whatever that number is, that would eat away from that 1.5, whatever that number was that you guys threw out there. So you really can't look at it that is money that we can just apply to that mortgage or that bond, because that's operational money. We have to pay. Everything goes up, as everybody has stated, but you can't just throw all that increase in and say, well, we can use that to pay for this bond. Well, you got to pay for wages and rent and everything else. So the numbers that you're putting out are not truly correct. They need to be adjusted, because that's not the way that the whole thing works. So with that, I'm done.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Thanks.
when you're
Hold
done,
on.
I just have 1 second when you're done. I just one little thing.
Thank you very much. Jeremy, and I'm sorry I'm picking on you, but obviously Brad's not with us. So I'm gonna see if you've got an answer for me on some numbers here that I've seen. I believe back in February, when I voted in favor of 25-year bond for $25 million, I believe we were looking at a payment of 1.6 million a year.
Yeah, that's.
The proposal now, or the 18 million 20-year is 1.5 million. Right, so it's $100,000 less than what three of us were supportive of in February. And now, as I understand it, the 18 million for 15 years would be, I saw 1.75, but whatever, let's just say 1.75 if we could. I think Ray said 1.7. So really, we're talking an additional $150,000 from what Jason, Terry, and I wanted to do back in February. Correct? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jason.
So as far, to understand why we have a budget surplus, a lot of times we have to budget for every position being filled. And this is probably gonna be one of the first years we've had every position in the sheriff's office, pretty much. And that's a big chunk of money when you don't have 7, 8 officers or whatever. So that's where a lot of the surplus comes, is from not having the employees. But like Terry said, you know, you have to, everything goes up. We have negotiations. You guys are in the negotiations too. I mean, and it's not gonna get any cheaper. They're not, those negotiations never go down. So those are things we gotta think about. But anyway, I just want to keep our options open. That's all.
Thanks. Thanks, Jason. And I appreciate I appreciate the sheriff's comments. I wholeheartily agree with Ray that, I will, as long as I'm sitting here, I will never vote for a reduction in the law enforcement population. So, so in terms of us losing road patrol, well, I think there's at least 2 votes here that that's not gonna happen.
Spread the pool.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Thank you. There was 4.
I bet.
Please. I supported the $25 million, 25-year bond in February. Up to us. I thought that was the best plan. I thought that was the plan. It didn't work out. The worst thing I think that can happen is that we don't get this done. And I think we all agree on that. 2 weeks ago, my friend here to my left suggested that I put on my big boy pants. And I've given that a lot of thought. I really have. And honestly, I think Jairus's motion is use those words, is the big boy motion. And why? Because it's not easy. It's going to require us to be incredibly focused, to not be distracted. And it's going to require all of us, and by all of us, I mean this entire county, every employee, every department head, every elected official. But we can do it. I really believe we can do it. I really believe this county will rally around our law enforcement community. I really believe the voters will look at this and say, the board has made an incredibly difficult decision. I believe they will vote for it. And I believe that the county will rally around and figure out, how are we going to come up with it? And I understand. Is it 200? Is it 250? I understand. We don't know exactly. I believe we can do it. I have all the faith in the world of this organization, and I'm terrified that this does not get done. And I'm terrified that somebody's going to look back and say, you know, why didn't Heffron get this done? So, Terry.
The only comment I have to that is we have had, until recently, we have had a extremely good professional with our finance director. He has come to us and told us, and we've asked him his professional advice, and he said we cannot afford that without cutting services. I would take his comment as pretty much knowing exactly where we stand. Jeremy has made pretty much the same comment, that if we go to that threshold, that we have no option but to look at cutting services, reducing employees. You've had the conversation that you didn't want to ever cut anybody. And now we're looking at making a decision that is up to 15 years, that if it passes, we know that we will have to cut services. Unless Brad's information is incorrect, which I highly doubt it is, because that's what he does. I would rather go and know that his information is correct. And, I mean, up to 18 years. We got a little bit of a cushion and we know we can do it for sure. 15 years. We don't know if we're gonna make it without cutting people or not.
Again, listening to the experts.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty well discussed it, but. Government has a pretty high. What do you want to say, track record of. Using everything up to. So this is a great way to hold ourselves to be accountable. And. I could bring up examples in Antrim County, I could bring up examples in the state. But if you want this to pass. We already put a 20-year on the ballot. It failed. It needs to be better. The people, our constituents, the taxpayers expect it to be better.
Put a 25 here.
It was 20-year on the ballot, wasn't it, in November?
25.
20.
In November, it was 20 with the millage back.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was thinking it was 25 also.
Nope.
Is that what you said earlier?
Sorry, didn't, Cheers. Were you
No,
finished?
I'm good.
Other comments? I've also thought about, Terry, your comments about cutting staff. Absolutely, I said that. I have no interest in any employees losing their jobs. I believe we can do this. And speak about employees losing their jobs, Jeremy. And this is if, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but if we don't get this project done. And if our insurance company or the Department of Corrections says we no longer can hold people here in our facility for whatever reason. Corrections officers would lose their jobs.
So
So. That's a risk to me as well. Is that if we don't get this project done, that we could have corrections staff losing their jobs through no fault of their own, other than our. That's, again, I appreciate the discussion always. I truly do, and I really hope we'll all join in this. And I really hope we'll all join in this. So any other comments? There was a motion made by Jairus. Do you have that motion, Vicky?
The motion was made to amend 20 years to 15 years.
Is that sufficient, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was seconded by Ray?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a roll call, vote, Vicky.
Okay. Commissioner Hellwig,
I don't want to be limited, so I'm saying no.
Commissioner Scola,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Alstine,
I will not strap the county and make us lose jobs. My vote is no.
Commissioner Rubin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heffernan,
Yes.
passes 3-2.
okay, just to be clear, you amended the motion, you still haven't voted on the motion.
Okay. No, all right, no, I do need clarification. Go ahead, help me out. Where do I go from here?
Terry and Jason made a
Yep.
motion.
Yep.
You picked it up at the floor. Jairus made a motion to amend that motion.
Okay,
And the motion is now stands amended. It has not been voted on.
all right, now we're gonna vote again.
Yeah.
You got that, Vicky?
Yes, I do.
Might as well put my saying no.
Okay, all right. So again, another roll call vote, Vicky, please.
Okay. Commissioner Hellwig,
Still no.
Commissioner Scola,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Alstine,
No.
Commissioner Rubin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heffernan,
Yes.
passes 3-2.
Thank you again, everyone, for the discussion.
Done.
Discussion architect, engineering, construction, management,
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy's included a memo to us? Jeremy, you want to make any comments about that? Otherwise, self-explanatory on the face of it? Okay, any discussion?
Are we looking to move forward since we've done that? Are we looking to move forward to be able to have some information that would be concrete to give the voters in November so we know exactly, wrong word, a very close approximated cost of how much this public safety center is going to cost? Right now, we really don't have anything but square footage times X amount of dollars per square foot. With the 30% plan, we will get that down to nearly where we'll know exactly what. We'll have a drawing. We'll be able to show people some of it, but you can't show the inside because of the safety issue. So I would like to see us move forward with allowing the Jeremy to put this out for bid and be able to start with this drawing.
And we're still in discussion. We're still in discussion. Okay.
Right, no,
And-
there's not a agenda item as
Yep.
far as we can make a motion on.
Okay.
It would have to be a consensus.
All right. And we didn't, I don't think, my position hasn't changed from last. I did ask for, I reached out to friends of architects and builders, spoke with people, talked about spending $500,000, talked to some folks who I knew were opposed, voted no back in November and said, anyways, I can't vote in favor of spending that kind of money without knowing if we actually have the funds to do this project. We won't know that until November. So, Jason.
All I have to say is thank you for not changing your mind because you got your other, you know what I mean? And then want to spend money on this now. Because I wanted to spend money on it and you guys didn't. If you guys are gonna change your mind on it, I was gonna have some choice comments. So anyway, that's it.
So that puts us into 2027 before we can even start to look at it, which blows the cost of the project up by $1.5 million, which basically you guys just subbed the building a public safety center.
Yeah, well,
Move on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, any other comments? Jess?
My only comment is, I just don't see how we can move forward with this until the public says that we can. They voted in November, they said no. That's just where I'm at.
I voted twice no today. I was gonna vote no again anyway, so.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, we'll move
Move
on.
on.
Well, I think we'll move on. Okay. Reports, Jeremy's, any questions for Jeremy?
We're getting that public safety center one should be out there pretty, at least,
We'll be out there for a while.
a little easier,
Okay.
you know.
Any questions, Jeremy? No questions? Oh, Jess?
Number 6, the Michigan Indigent Defense, any update on that?
Anything in particular?
I guess in particular, the state has been kind of changing how that's done, and I was just wondering.
No new drastic changes this year, which is nice. But they are looking at doing this for juveniles as well.
Anything else?
The only one I had was 5, but it says it's gonna be on our July 19th agenda, which is the additional opioid settlement funds. So
Yep.
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right.
Just
Sorry,
a
Rick.
question.
Yep.
Last meeting, Commissioner Rubin asked about the previous years for animal control complaints versus warnings issued. In 2024, the numbers went down. Is there any,
There's zero controls in this whatsoever. This is people calling and complaining
Okay,
about issues.
okay.
I mean,
yeah, that.
less complaints is always
It's always a
good
good
because
thing. Yeah,
hopefully it
they
means
went
that
down significantly.
things are going better, but it doesn't necessarily.
Anything else for Jeremy?
Nope.
Chairman's report. I just wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July, especially especially Sheriff, you and all your folks. Any other comments, Ray? Sheriffs, Terry, Jason? Any public comment? Public comment today? Okay, we're adjourned by our chair. Thank you very much.